Well, hello again, YouTube. It's me again. Got a very interesting email. It was from somebody that you may have seen around YouTube making comments all over the place. It's a furry by the name of Comments to Losers, which I think the name is kind of ironic. One of the things he said to me in his little letter is, "So yeah, I think you should shut up. The world would be a better place without all your misleading information about the world of furries, so please shush, okay? Thanks." Well, this struck me as kind of odd, and I just felt I had to comment on it. I've never really made any statements about the world of furries, so I just thought I'd take my time to say my piece in the way I regard the furry fandom. Now, first of all, I want to say that I don't hate furries. Now, other people might, and, they are welcome to their opinion as far as I'm concerned. Now, the furry fandom, my overview of it is that there are certain unsavory elements in it. There are the yiffers, there are the baby furs, the diaper furs, there are vor, lolicon is in it, just all kinds of weird fetishes. And I mean, that I, yeah, I see that, and I just wonder, to the people that are into that aspect of it, how do you expect to not get trolled? I mean, seriously, that stuff, it's just, no normal person can relate to that. And then there are, the more tame aspects. There's the segment of the furry fandom that isn't into, it's clean, I guess you could say. And I don't have such a big problem with that. But you've got to admit, even at its most tamest and non-fetishistic, at its most purely cartoonish, even then, I've got to say, it does strike me as rather odd and eccentric. Anthropomorphic animals, I mean, that's something that, cartoons are something that I grew out of when I was a kid. So that's just the way I feel about it. Now, Comments to Losers, his message to me was very interesting because he represents a third segment of the fandom, and he represents this sort of politically correct, insane level of tolerance. I mean, that I've seen in a lot of the furry fandom. It's so tolerant that it actually goes full circle and becomes intolerant. It becomes the logical fallacy known as the false dichotomy. The logical fallacy of the false dichotomy is basically either you're with me or you're against me. Or another example would be, if you say anything at all critical of me, you're a horrible person. You're a bad person. And that's one part of the whole fandom that really irks me. This idea of, if you say anything bad about us, you're just horrible and wicked. That kind of butthurt. It's just really irritating. It reminds me of the same people in the fandom that compare being teased on the internet with what the Nazis did to the Jews in World War II. It's just really... And, you've got to understand something. I mean, spreading false dichotomies, I mean, it hasn't reached that kind of level yet. I don't know if it ever will, but it's sort of like cultural Maoism, in my opinion. I mean, fortunately, it seems to only be on the internet. In the furry fandom, I don't see them marching about, holding these marches or anything like that. If you say anything bad about the furries, you're you need to shut the fuck up. I don't see them doing that in real life yet. But, you know, I just can't understand this. You know, this part of the fandom. You know, and it's really odd because I thought one of the things that the furries were about was about being, you know, carefree and happy and, you know, kind of childlike. And people like this comments to losers, fellow. You know, his attitude makes me think that, you know, it strikes me as rather paranoid and insecure. You know, I mean, he said to me, the world would be a better place without all your misleading information about the world of furries, so please shush, okay? Thanks. You know, I don't see where I've ever said anything misleading about the fandom. You know, so anyway, that's just something to think about, you know. I mean, if you're a furry and you can't even tolerate somebody saying that what you do is odd and eccentric, I mean, you really need to rethink your position, I think. So, anyway, just my opinion, one man's opinion. I don't expect my YouTube channel to change the world, but just felt like throwing that out there. Anyway, peace out, Internet. Have a good night.